Hey everyone, welcome back to ChatterBeans. I'm Isaac Kong, and today's episode is one that really celebrates the power of change, courage, and creativity. I'm joined by Rachel Aitken, a mum, radio presenter, and host of the Crossroads pod, who shares a story of leaving the corporate world to follow her dream of presenting full-time. We talk about motherhood, imposter syndrome, storytelling, and what it really means to step into who you are. Rachel's energy is infectious, her honesty is refreshing, and her journey is a reminder that it's never too late to chase your passion. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's dive into this heartfelt conversation with Rachel Aitken. Rachel, welcome to ChatterBeans.
Oh, thank you so much, Isaac. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm well. I decided it was important that I had a cup of tea to chat to you due to the name of
Yes.
the podcast. So here it is.
I love it. I love it. I've got a mint tea, actually. I'm done with the coffee for today. So I've got my mint tea. I'm ready to go. Rachel, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. You're another guest that I don't know much about. We've connected on socials, which is really nice. And there's all sorts we can start talking about today. But tell us a little bit about you. What does life look like right now for you? Wherever you want to start us.
Okay, well, honestly, thank you so much for having me. It is a real privilege to be in the same boat as somebody who's starting out in their presenting journey and also on the podcast journey. And I think your podcast is amazing, which is why I was so grateful.
Thank you.
When you said, yeah, come along. So a little bit about me. Well, I'm Rachel Aitken. I am a mum of a 2-year-old who you may hear in the background. And as I said to you before, Isaac, I haven't just left her loose with the dog. She is with my husband upstairs. I'm a mum to a 2-year-old. I work a corporate day job, but my dream, Isaac, is to be a full-time presenter, much like yourself. And I am on this quest to make the dream happen because I've just got this fire in my bones that you have one life and you have to give it a good shot. I want to get to the end of my life, whenever that might be. I hope it's a long one. And so, you know what? I gave it a good crack and I had such a good time along the way. And what I love about presenting and what we're doing right now is you get to talk to cool people all the time, like-minded people, creative people. And this all just like spun to me and came to me at the very great timing of when I was 7 weeks pregnant.
I love it. So had you always wanted to be a presenter? Like, has it been a dream?
No. It felt like something, I think it's always been a niggle in the back of my head. So, I went to university. I then went to London on a graduate job. I kind of always fell into just coasting along. And I always did okay. Like, school, uni, always did okay. Never the best, never the worst. It's actually called the middle girl. That's me. Just the one bumbling along, having a great time. But I've always put other people first. I've never really thought wholeheartedly, what do I want to do? And I think as soon as I fell pregnant with my daughter, I didn't know I was having a daughter, but actually when I found out that I was, it was even more this huge feeling of I am her first female role model. So I have to show her that if I'm not proud of myself, she's not going to be proud of me. And if I'm going to tell her, go for her dreams, well, she could turn around to me and say, well, Mum, you've not done that for yourself. So it was this I say fire in my belly, but at the time it was like fire in my womb, Isaac, to be honest. To just be
I love that.
Right, okay, you've never ever once thought that thought, Rach, what do you want to do? And and it just kind of hit me. I think there was always telltale signs. So I worked in PR. I was always behind the scenes for getting my clients on Sky News, BBC, Lorraine, whatever it was, writing as a ghost for publications, big news publications and that kind of thing. And I always loved doing that. I never thought that I would be the one actually being the face of it. And then I moved to Manchester and I'd be walking by, Hits Radio, Media City, and I'd always think, oh, that's cool. Never thought too much about it. And then it was lockdown where we were watching the news all the time. And actually it was Dan Walker and Louise Minchin who I kept looking at being like, God, I would absolutely love that job. And I just kept thinking to myself, God, that would just be an amazing job to connect with people, to bring light into darkness is what I feel like I can bring to the world, hopefully. And that's what they were doing in a really tough time. And it sort of started to build and build and build. And then as soon as I fell pregnant, it was this enormity like, Rach, you got to do this and you got to do it now. So at 7 weeks, I applied to the BBC as a, contributor. And within a week of that application, I was on the red sofa, and I did that for about a year and utilised my mat leave to the hilt. And now I do have a local radio presenting gig and my own podcast. And that's happened in the space of about 2.5 years.
That's fantastic. Like, that is, that's an incredible journey in such a short space of time. Like, how did it feel when you first got going with it? Like, you're like 7 weeks pregnant, you're like, right, I'm going to do this. Like, how did you just go for it, or did you talk yourself out of it a few times? And really, like, because for me, I get in my head a little bit and I'm like, no, I'm not good enough to apply for that.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where, I mean, the detail of the application was I actually saw this lady, and I always mention her because she was the start of this. She's called Laura Crompton, and it's really thanks to Laura that I got going, basically. And Laura basically had the same career history as me, and we didn't know each other. I'd met her once on an overlap day where I was joining the company that she was leaving, and I saw that she was still doing PR, but she was also on the weekend a BBC Radio Manchester radio presenter. And I thought, cool, well, if you've got the same career history as me, then how can I do that too? Because I think the imposter syndrome is real, and absolutely, like, my whole life I've never ever felt good enough, especially being in front of the camera. Like, I was told throughout school that I was so ugly, and to this day I look at my face and I hear those horrible words, and you just have to crack on with it, because you think, honestly, if that person's doing it, whoever they might be, and they might have a huge profile, or they may just be a normal lovely person, everyone is entitled to still go for whatever their dream is, because it just doesn't start overnight. And I think when the worrying voices come in, which they do for both of us and so many people, you do just have to think, you know what, I'm so nervous and I feel sick to my bones, and it may be the pregnancy, but it also is probably just pure nausea. You've got to just do it, because after you've done whatever terrifies you, you will be so glad you did. So yes, the voices do creep in, and they still creep in, but I feel like when they stop creeping in, that's when I'm a bit comfortable and it's time to maybe see what else we can do.
I love that. I love your energy, and I'm I hear it. The imposter syndrome comes through loud and clear on this podcast from pretty much every guest talks about it at some point in their life. So I'm just glad that you kind of got through that and pushed ahead. I mean, so getting onto the radio, how was that? Because I've done a little bit of radio recently, just for a short stint, and it's quite an exciting feeling. So how is that for you?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Honestly, Isaac, I just feel at home. So, I like touched upon the fact that I've always worked these corporate jobs, and there's always just something like school, uni, the corporate world. It's always been one of those things where it's fine, it just doesn't light me up, and it's maybe always just that little bit hard. I have to work that little bit harder than everyone else just to kind of get it and do it well. I'm not somebody who can ever do anything by halves. I got to do everything 100%, and that's including showing up as a good mate, as a good wife, as a good daughter. I won't go to a party unless I'm feeling 100%, which is something I'm actually working on. But yeah, I never feel like, I always feel just so, even if I'm so exhausted, if my daughter's been up all night, if my day hasn't ended like at all, because of whatever reason, I still get up for my 7 a.m. show, and I have to leave here at 4 to do that because it's a little bit further from where I currently live. And it doesn't matter because I enjoy it so much. And I think if you find something, whatever that is, honestly, if you really enjoy cleaning toilets, you just do it, because honestly, I mean, and you're very welcome to come and help me out with that if that's what you enjoy. But I just think whatever it is, it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something really small, but if it gives you purpose and joy, and if you are, and you're not feeling 100%, but you can still show up and do whatever that activity is for you, that's what you need to pursue. Because for me, just being in the studio, I just love it. And I love connecting with people. I love giving ordinary people platforms. Like, I had this wonderful guest on recently. So I do local radio for Cheshire. Cheshire's Mix 56. So therefore we're championing the local audience, which is something which is obviously kind of diminishing at the moment in the radio industry. And, she has terminal cancer, this wonderful lady. And she said she listened to the show every week and was on her bucket list. And I got her to come on the show. And how incredible is Isaac? Like, I'll never forget
That's
it.
amazing.
So you get to talk to cool people, but you also get to go to cool events and you get to just do different things that you would never normally do in your own day to day. Like this weekend, Fern Cotton's team has invited me along to Happy Place. And I think that is mental. Do you know what I mean?
That's incredible. And so she's done a Happy Place festival recently, hasn't she? In London.
In London. So she's up in the north this time.
Because the last one that she did was the day that I saw Davina, and Davina was rushing off after that to go to her Happy Place because she did a bit on I think on the stage with Fern. So I love that. So you've got your own podcast, which is amazing. So tell me, like, how did you start it? I think you're in season 3 as well, similar place to me. So yeah, I'm keen to hear all about it. Where did the idea come from, and like, how's it going?
Yeah, well, this is why it's so exciting to be chatting to you, Isaac, because it's so cool to be chatting to someone in a similar boat on a similar journey, because I don't actually come across that many people who are kind of ticking along at the same pace. So it's really, really cool that we're doing this together. The podcast for me started, so I had my daughter in Manchester, and 2 months later we moved due to my husband's job through to Southport, which is where we currently live. And I was holding this 2-month-old tiny little baby in our house thinking, oh my God, what have we done? We don't have any support network here. And most of our friends and family live all across the globe anyway. But, we'd made a lovely unit in Manchester. We'd lived there for 5 years. And it was quite a daunting thing. Now, Manchester's not far. It's only an hour away. So, you still do have those connections. But I was sort of craving those people who were just on the doorstep. Anyway, my mum encouraged me, because my mum and dad moved around a lot when we were growing up, my brother and I. And my mum was in a similar boat with me. And she said, you've got to get yourself out to a baby group, Rach. And I promise this is where the podcast question does come in. And I was like, oh, Mum, like I said to you, Isaac, I don't like to give people anything less than 100%. And I was feeling for sure less than 100% at this point with a 2-month-old baby. And Mum was like, just go, like, it's an hour of your life, just go to one of these little things. And I started making this lovely group of people, like meeting such a lovely group of people in Southport, to whom are now my absolute close knit of people here. And I'm really, really grateful to have. But the mainly mums that I was meeting in these groups every week, they were all kind of saying a similar thing to me. And they were all saying, I don't want to go back to my day job, or I want to make a change, but I don't have the confidence. And I have I've always had the fortune that I'm from a family where anything is possible. You just have to go for it. That's not from a privileged point of view in terms of like monetary or anything like that. That's just a mindset, My parents are both from a really working class background, but they've made their own luck. And so my dad changed career at 30. My husband's changed career at 30. My mum changed career 10 years ago. She won't want me to tell you her age, but she's not 30, Isaac, bless her. She looks 30, but she isn't. And anything is possible. My brother is currently, in the process of changing. And I couldn't believe that I was surrounded by these women who, I was the only one saying to them, giving that sort of big sister energy. I am a big sister anyway to my little bro, but of being like, well, if you want to make a change, just do it. You don't need to go back to that job. Let's just make the change. Let me help you make a plan. I'm really good at focusing on other people and saying, like, I can see the potential in you. So, like I said to you, like, let's get Davina McCall on. Like, why not? But when I think about it for myself, I'm like, I said to you, I was like, oh yeah, I really want Dr. Chatterjee on the pod, but and it's kind of changing that mindset around to do it for yourself, but also for others. And the reason why I started the podcast, I was obviously starting this presenting journey anyway, and I did think, okay, well, it could be a cool experience, but I have no idea where to start. And basically the crossroad came because I'm obviously at my own crossroad, and that's the name of the podcast, the Crossroad Pod. Because life is a series of crossroads, and sometimes those crossroads are really challenging. They can be exciting. Sometimes they come to you. Sometimes you're seeking like the crossroad itself. And I started thinking, well, why don't I chat to people, interesting, normal, everyday people who have clearly come to a crossroad and thrived, in order to give anyone, including the mums that I was meeting, the confidence to say, listen, if Isaac is looking to change career, or if so-and-so was doing exactly what you were doing, and now she's pivoted and now she's so much happier. You can do it too. And the idea is to just take that leap of faith, because like I say, we cannot get to the end of our lives and think, oh, I really wish I'd done whatever. So that's why I started this, and I started chatting to people, all sorts of people. I bring my friends on who I know have got cool stories and have a little chinwag with them. Those ones are harder, Isaac, actually, because you feel a bit like, they're just a bit, it's a bit like, when you're presenting to your friends, you feel much more nervous than you would if you're talking to someone random. It's so weird, but they're super encouraging. It's super encouraging. And yeah, I'm on season 3, and I started off with sometimes I'd get no likes on anything I'd post, and it's very demoralizing, and you're doing it off your own back. You're doing it on from my sofa. I was doing it when my little one was having her nap. Sometimes she would join me in the conversations because she wasn't talking at that point, so it was a bit easier. And I just gave it a crack. But also, I think the best advice I've ever been given is by somebody who's also a fellow presenter. He's called Jason King. He's a presenter on Heart. You might know him from JK and Joel back in the day. And he just said to me, Rach, you've got to have fun with it. If you're not having fun, you don't do it. Don't bother. And I really keep that in my focus. And I have so much fun with the pod, Isaac. I meet the most crazy people, honestly, in the best way. Not crazy mad, just I am so in awe of them. And they're just, one of them recently is Damien Hughes from the High Performance Podcast. So he's a fellow podcaster. And the kindness, humility and generosity he's shown me, he does not know his own kind of platform. And he's incredible. And I met him through like a mutual connection who did me a solid and just said, I actually saw this guy chatting. I'll reach out to him for you. And that's literally how my friend Richard doesn't know this Damien very well at all. But he just kind of went out on a limb, and people are really kind and they want to help. And, it's just been brilliant. And he had an amazing Crossroads story, to which one of his friends messaged me to say, I've known Damien for 30 odd years and I didn't know half until I listened to your podcast episode. So I don't know, it's getting the best of people. It's sharing these inspiring stories, because if I can just reach one person, Isaac, who's like, you know what, Rach, it really gave me encouragement to go for it, then it's a job well done.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's testament to you, right, as a good presenter, that you can draw these stories out. And, I don't want to be too big-headed, but I do feel proud of some of the conversations I've had, because particularly in season 1, I knew pretty much everyone, actually, and season 2, I think I pretty much knew all of them quite well. But there were stories that were coming out. I was like, how did I never know that? And people saying the same thing, like, wow, just really, I like the way that you drew that story out, or you were able to connect with that. So where do you want to take the podcast? Like, what's the plan?
I'm an ambitious woman, Isaac. I always have been. So I'm working with a wonderful, I started season 1 and 2 off with the wonderful Hattie, who's she was a BBC producer. And Hattie then has moved on to a different job, so she couldn't continue with the podcast. And I felt a bit down on my luck about that, Isaac, because I thought, I am not very technical. I don't think I'm going to do it as slickly, but I thought, I'm not going to let that hold me back. I'm going to just crack on and do it. But actually, in that process, I've met the most wonderful group of people at Prism Studios in Warrington, and I actually had a meeting with them just yesterday, and they're helping me with season 4, just the production side of it, to maybe get into a studio, which is something crazy because it's usually done in this little study that I'm chatting to you in now, or on my sofa downstairs in the living room with the dog and baby around me, whatever. And I was looking around thinking, wow, that's certainly happened in such a short space of time. And I said to them yesterday, I would love this to go all the way to the top 10. Why not? Top 10 podcast charts. And again, I just think, exactly, why not? And what I think, Isaac, is when you're podcasting or interviewing somebody, we have a duty of care to share these stories, because these conversations, whatever they may be, even the one we're having right now, they can really resonate with people and make people feel less alone. And going back to the radio, when I do radio, I know that sometimes lots of listeners, they might not have spoken to anybody even that week, but they're listening to me or whoever they're listening to on the radio, and you're giving that company. And I feel the same in the podcast sphere. You've got a platform, and you can raise topics which somebody may feel really alone in. And I'm really excited for what that might look like for season 4 and beyond for both of us.
Yeah, me too. And I think there's something even more special about our type of podcast, where it's real people like my strapline, I guess, is like real people with real conversations, because sure, these big podcasts with celebrities are great, and you get the self-help people on, and I love listening to some of them. But I think it's even more personal when it's a real person like that you would bump into in the street, not just this kind of really famous celebrity that's going to give you all of this self-help advice, which is great. But I think, yeah, having the real person and being able to draw those stories out and for them to share it, I think is really special. So yeah, I wish you all the best with season 4. Like, it sounds like it's going to be super exciting. Being in a studio, you're going to love it. This studio here actually is in my house. It's my second bedroom that I created. So my ambition is to get into a actual studio where someone can take care of all the technical stuff, because it is stressful, particularly when the camera switches off halfway through or something like that. But we're all learning, right? So
absolutely. And you know what? Again, you sharing that is really important, because somebody else who might be listening to this, and if you are wanting to start your podcast journey, just absolutely start it. Like you say, you've got a spare room, and it looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. I wish I could have been there to be in it, because it looks absolutely wonderful.
Next time,
get me
next
back.
time we'll do another
Please.
one in a few seasons' time. But honestly, this is just like a lot of IKEA and a few cheap wooden panels. But and that's because I wanted to go a little bit extra. But anyone can start it, right? You need a mic, a fairly okay mic, but you can all start it and get them published for free. So yeah, I'm just glad I jumped into it, and like yourself. Tell me about family then. So, like, being a mother, 2 years old. How's it going?
Yeah, it's great, actually. So, yeah, I have a wonderful husband called Rory. He's also at his own Crossroads. He went back to do postgraduate medicine. So we're very different in that respect. Super academic with a super creative. I'm obviously hoping my daughter goes down the creative route. I keep saying, when I saw the sonogram at Isaac, I saw that beautiful spine, and I thought, that girl's not going anywhere near a corporate job. Because her posture will be ruined. So yes, we have moved around. Like I say, we lived in London, we've lived in Manchester. We're originally Scottish, both of us actually originally from Edinburgh. So our network is worldwide. I actually noticed that you were chatting about Hong Kong on your page. We were just in Hong Kong for a friend's wedding, so it's really cool.
Were you?
Yeah, we were. It was amazing. It was like the best time. We did take. She was 18 months when we took Lois. So if you've got a little kid and you're worried about long haul flight, don't worry. And everyone was she was brilliant. I would say she thrived, honestly. Yeah, we were. It was really cool, actually.
But it's something I believe. I think taking a baby, as a baby on a long haul flight, I think is super important, right? To get them used to.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Well, I don't have one, but that would be my...
Yeah, no, but it's good. It's good. Well, it's great that you don't mind a crying baby on a flight as well. No, she loved it, honestly. And it was, I love Hong Kong. I don't know what's taking you to Hong Kong. You can definitely tell me. But yeah, it was a great time. But yeah, no, family-wise, my little unit is my husband, Rory, who is just coming through. He's about to finish, finally, 7 years later, his medical course. So, you do 5 years of the book study stuff at uni, and then you do your two years foundational course. Not course, really, but yeah, it's called a foundation program. And that took us to Southport. The NHS weren't very kind to us. They didn't care that we had a tiny baby, and they're like, you're still needing to go to Southport. But you know what, Isaac? Southport's given us a lot of space and calm. Like, I'm somebody, an extroverted person, naturally, if you're a presenter, you usually are. But actually being in Southport has given me the space and the calm to be creative. I don't think I would have done half of this radio and podcasting stuff if I had still been living quite a busy social life in both London and Manchester. Like, you live in London. The social scene, I couldn't keep up with it by the end of it. Neither could my bank balance, to be fair.
I think this is the thing that I have on my side, is that I am an extrovert. I definitely am, but we don't do that much socially. Like, I feel like people have got money is one thing at the moment. It's expensive to go out. So I think I've been able to create that space over the last year. But that's what I was going to say to you. It's sometimes harder, isn't it? Yeah, when you're in a big city, you've got so much going on and you feel the pressure to go and meet people or, do this, and this. So actually I can hear you, and I get what you're saying about that, I suppose. Like, stepping outside and you've been able to find that space.
Yeah, no, it has brought this like calm, serenity. I don't know if Southport's going to be forever for us. It's always a bit of a stopgap, just because I think we're ready to be near family. Because, when you do have a young family, although I haven't lived back in Scotland for over 10 years, and I don't think necessarily Scotland's the place for us right now, only because the opportunities are just not as great as they are in England. You know, we've got Media City here, you know, really close to us in Manchester. There's obviously London. I'm down in London all the time with my day job anyway, Liverpool, that kind of thing. And the Scots will be screaming at me saying, hey, listen, Glasgow's doing really well. But there's just something I'm like, I just think the opportunities are here right now. It's a bit more diverse down here, which I think is important for my daughter to be exposed to. But family life is great. I really love it. I love it more than I thought I'd love it. I'll be honest with you. I always loved kids, you know, and I always knew I wanted children, but I always would coo over a puppy rather than a baby. So I was a bit worried about that, Isaac. When I was pregnant, I always said to my friends and family and my husband, you know, I'm worried that my dog's called Guinness. He's a black Labrador for context. I said, I'm worried I'm going to love Guinness more than my child. But it's totally, you know, Guinness unfortunately has taken second place, bless him. When I say second place, Rory, my husband, very much knows he is now absolutely third place. But she is the joy. She's the reason why to keep going, because I'm not just doing this dream for myself. I'm truly doing it for my family, for our future. And you know, and I don't know if this had come to me in my 20s, this kind of vision of where I'd like to go with the presenting dream. I don't know if I'd necessarily do it as well because of maybe lack of maturity, but also, you know, an innate people pleaser by trade. When you then have this little person who you want the best for, like I want to be able to just give her a great start. And I do believe that by following my own passions and dreams, listen, I do battle a lot with the mum guilt thing, the parent guilt thing, and how that manifests in me is actually a physical pain. Like when I go away to the radio on a Saturday morning, I feel physically bad that I'm not there with my little one. But then I come back from it and I'm only away 4 hours. It's really nothing. And she doesn't notice I'm gone, to be fair. But I come back, I'm a better mum for it, you know, and she listens to me on the radio, she hears that, and you know, and also there's a real, what I think my husband and I do well is we're a real balance act. What I think we lack in balance is I think Rory would like me to input more in the cooking. And I say he has told me that. But he's a better cook than me, Isaac, you know? And I just think play to our strengths here, people. But anyway, I think we do the balancing act really well. You know, Rory's pursuing medicine and he's doing absolutely brilliant. He's doing that. He's doing different sort of shifts, but she's getting the best version of both of us because we do have life outside our family unit. And I don't know if that comes across badly or not, but I do think like the parent guilt. I say parent, it's not just mum guilt. I think a lot of people put onus on the mum. I think the guilt for me manifests physically, I think because I carried her genuinely. But also, I know my husband feels guilty too when he's on a night shift and my daughter doesn't sleep well because she's missing her daddy. And like, there's nothing, I can't sugarcoat that because he knows it. So, but we're doing it because we want her to have the best future and we want to have a good life together.
And I think it's important. I mean, it's, you know, I got married to Oscar last summer. He's from Hong Kong.
Congratulations.
I post about Hong Kong a lot and we're going back there. Thank you. And, you know, I'm coming into mid-30s and you're starting to have that conversation about surrogacy and having a baby and, you know, all of that. And I do think it's really important to still have your own thing. Whereas he thinks it's like, oh God, life's over. Like we can have a baby and like, that's it. We're locked down for 8 years. I'm like, no, it's really important to still try to find our own thing. And I probably will feel that guilt as well, but I think it's important to continue it. And, you know, she's going to be super proud in the future when you've smashed it as a brilliant.
So I hope so. I think it's one of those things where, you know, like my dad worked away, his job, you know, he worked away the whole time. He was gone for quite a lot of the time. And he's making up for that now, being the absolute, you know, most present papa there is. Even being in Scotland, my parents are brilliant. Both sets of parents are really brilliant coming down here. It's a 4-hour drive away. However, I didn't actually notice he was gone because when he was back, he was very present in our lives. But also, if he didn't do the job he did, we wouldn't have like the lovely life that we did. And now I'm an adult, I appreciate it even more. You know, Isaac, even the fact that like my mum could go and have a lovely shop in M&S, or dad could pick up bits from M&S. Like M&S is expensive.
Exactly.
But also my dad, you know, sorry to interrupt you, but my dad was he changed career at 30 to become a pilot, and coming from the background that he did, which was incredibly working class, that was something which was, you know, people were like, you're mad, son. Like it was just not happening in Glasgow. And he did it, and he's now through it, and he's had a 30-year career. And he says, life is short, but your working life is actually long. So you just change whatever time, it doesn't matter, because you've got to enjoy it. It takes up so much of your time. And most of us, are not in the fortunate position where we can't work. So you've got to do something you enjoy. But even if I had loads of money, Isaac, I would still want to present because I enjoy it so much.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. And I love your story and your energy. Thank you. I want to talk about coffee.
I love
Do you like
coffee.
coffee? Do you have time to have a coffee on your own?
Yeah, I do actually. And going back to your husband's point, like I promise you, because you're in it together, and I can already hear you're a great team. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And also, by the way, it's not a solo mission. Like people want to help you. But yes, I actually do have like time. She does go to nursery as well. When they go to nursery, you start to get a little bit of freedom back. You can sit and have that coffee, but no, you can have a coffee. I can assure you, you can have a shower by yourself. You just need to have a tag team. You just or like, for example, this morning, Rory let me sleep in till 7, which is my old self would be like, asleep in till 7. Wow. But I read a chapter of my book, Isaac, by myself, and I actually thought, oh my goodness, I've really come a long way. That little baby stage, you kind of blink and the year's in and you're like, whoa, that's quite a lot. But if you are, I would say, like tag team it together. When you have a newborn as well, don't both be up at the same time. A few of my friends do that. That's nonsense. One of you rest and then recharge, switch. It's like a relay game.
Well, we're quite good at that. I'm a morning person. He's definitely not.
perfect.
So I think we've got that sorted. So tell me, favorite coffee? What's your
I
coffee
like a
order?
cappuccino. Is that basic?
Do you? No, do you know, I've not heard it much on this
Watch
podcast.
people like
It's quite
matcha
nice.
or whatever.
Oh, they all matcha, all this
Yeah, it's lovely.
wacky.
No, I'm not into
milk
the
and stuff
no.
like that.
I just like In fact, I went for a coffee with my parents the other day, and I heard my dad go, "I just want normal milk." Or milk. He called it milk, and I thought, yeah, you can take the guy out of Scotland. No, I just like normal cow's milk. Do you know, a normal fat cappuccino. I think I like a cappuccino because it's got chocolate on it.
Yeah, a little bit
What
of a
do you
treat,
like?
isn't it? Yeah. I'm quite boring. A black Americano, unless I want a treat, and I don't know why this is a treat, but I always think a flat white is a
Okay,
treat.
nice.
So I occasionally treat myself. Normal milk.
Yeah, but
Cows. If you can have coffee with anyone, have you got anyone in mind that you would love to sit down with? You've mentioned some people in this podcast, but also before in our pre-chat. So is there anyone in your life that or anyone that you can think of that you'd love?
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's loads of people I'd love to have a coffee with. I think, and this, I will tell you if this actually happens, but I mentioned Dan Walker, who's obviously now a Channel 5 presenter. I really would love to sit down with Dan and Louise Minchin. They're obviously, I would love to, and just have a coffee and say, listen, you were the one who sparked this interest, and I learned so much. I all the time I'm taking, tips from presenters when I'm watching any interviews. Like even, we're chatting now, and you have such a brilliant style, Isaac, which you need to know, and your voice is just, it's like honey. It's lovely. I don't know what people say to this question, and I'm sure people probably say like, I don't know, I don't know why Queen's coming to my head, but you know what I mean. But I just think, this is where it started, and I would just love, two very pro presenters to be like, oh, I would just love to be like you. And I do have a very tenuous link to Dan Walker, so I'm biding my time to ask for coffee, and if that happens, I will absolutely let you know. Somebody who I've always admired, which is the bigger one, to which I don't think anyone would refuse a coffee, with Michelle Obama. Do you know?
Yeah, imagine. What would you want to talk to her about?
I have no idea what I want to talk to her about, but I would just be like, you are amazing. I just think she's got it down. She is just, I just like people in my life. Michelle, are you in my life? But I just like people. What I resonate with anyone is just, again, that humility, just being normal. And she's, again, a huge high profile, but she just sits there chatting about her and Barack like normal when I see her interviews. And, like, everything's just very normal. Nothing's glamorized. And she's got a very an incredible approach to parenting and raising her daughters. And I would just love to have a chat with her and say, like, how did you do it? What was it like living in the White House? What was it like growing up as you did? I don't know. It would just be so cool to talk to her.
Considering who they are, they do both feel very approachable, like just everyday normal people, quite casual, quite cool. Well, let's manifest it. Let's get it out.
We will. We can go together. We can go together. You can have a flat white on your treat day, and I'll have a wee cappuccino, and we'll see. I feel like Michelle will be into like normal milk surely. Come on, Michelle.
I think so. So look, you have gone through an incredible couple of years, and I can see that you're really trying to pursue your dreams, which is amazing. Is there something, though, that you've had to unlearn at any point in your life that's really, that was there, but you really had to kind of get rid of that? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's loads of answers to that. I think every chapter you're in, your 20s are hard. Your 30s, you're starting to understand yourself. And I'm genuinely looking forward to my 40s. Yeah, I am, because I'm already starting to feel like me, Isaac, and the best version of myself. And I think that's only growing. And I think when you get a bit older, I think you start to feel a bit more settled in yourself. I mentioned Southport giving me the space, calm and clarity to inward look. I've never, ever inward looked, ever. I'm the big sister to my little bro, like I say, but I am that big sister person to everyone. I do believe my purpose for anyone close to me is I'm that fixer person. I'm the one that everyone goes to. But subsequently, and I'm happy to be that person, subsequently if you are that person, which a lot of people are, it can be quite a lonely road, but it also means that you're the bottom of the list and you neglect yourself. And I would, if I look back to my time in London and Manchester, I had a brilliant time, but I literally was just spending all my money on people's birthdays and going to all these different dinners every night. And I remember one day I went to a breakfast with someone, then I went to lunch, and I went to a dinner. And I think, gosh, did you do anything for yourself that day or that weekend? And a weekend is literally 2 days. And I am basically, whilst I'm here, I'm unlearning and kind of those habits. So I'm really kind of honing in on the right people. I think I previously spread myself so thin. I maybe always just gave that what my old boss, who I love my old boss so much, B, she's called, she would say, Rachel, wearing this shiny jacket, but you don't need to wear the shiny jacket all the time. Just be your full self. Take it off, because people just, they don't need the big personality to always be lifting someone up. But what I realised, Isaac, is when I did take the glittery jacket off, not everybody liked to see that kind of full vulnerable side of me, because they were just used to the joker, one of the lads in quotation marks from some of the boys. And actually, when I just am my full self with people, I'm like, you know what, the ones who don't want to have all of that, that's okay. I may be just realizing that not everyone is your best mate, and you don't need to give all of your resources and time. Just really, I also think we're the leading, man and woman of our own lives. And I just wasn't acting like that. Yes. And now I feel like I'm starting to step into it. And also, those comments from school, like I mentioned, I don't have a good opinion of myself. So when anyone's kind to me, I blush and I'm embarrassed and all of this kind of thing. And especially when you have to go on camera and show your face. And I think, gosh, but they told me that all of my features are really ugly. And who am I putting that post on social media saying, hey, come and watch my whatever on my podcast. Yeah. But all of that, I'm trying to just be like, do you know what? I think the biggest lesson I'm learning, and I know that the undoing is kind of starting to be that leading lady and have the right people around you and give the right energy to the right people. But it's also the lesson here is you are enough. And that's what I'd say to anybody. You, as whoever you are enough.
I love that. And it's something you've said a few times during the episode is about stepping into an older age. Like in those 20s, you're still, you're having fun, you're not really taking things too seriously. But as you get older, you realize who you are. And that's probably now giving you the freedom and the space and the confidence to become an amazing presenter and put yourself forward. And I think I'm in that space as well. It's only meeting Oscar, doing therapy, losing some weight, coming into my 30s, mid 30s coming up to, like, it's taking all of that to now be like, okay, I'll put the podcast out there. Some people will judge it. Some people are going to go, oh, here we go again, another bloody podcast.
No.
But I don't care, because actually the people that matter, they're fine. And the ones that, that don't matter, it's okay. It's okay. Like, they'll have their opinions, and let them, so I really love that. I love all the advice that you've given. I mean, ultimately, when do you feel most like yourself?
I feel most like myself literally when I'm just hanging out with my daughter, husband, and dog. I feel like I always have to mention the dog because he is part of the family, No, I've got an amazing group of people around me. There are just a certain bunch of us who I just feel my full self. And actually, I started therapy not so long ago, Isaac, for the first time, and I realized in those conversations that actually I do have a lot of people around me, and really great people around me, seriously incredibly lucky, a lot of people who've been with me actually since school, who would never say those horrible comments, by the way, but even with some of those people, I maybe feel a bit anxious to see them, but I'm always buzzing to see them. But there are this amazing group of people, some who I've met through my husband, some who've been with me the whole time, and I'm just me, and it's just great. And I miss them so much. We don't get to see them that often, but when we do, it's like no time has passed. And again, if you have those people around you, just hold on to them tight. Very fortunate, my brother and my cousins are very close friends as well as family, and we always say, even if we didn't have any other friends, we've got each other, and what a privilege that is.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. There is time now for the quick fire round. I want to get a little bit more about you. It's a quick fire round. That is usually not that quick, so we'll see how we get on.
Ready.
But are you ready? Good. First thing you do in the morning?
I go and wake up my daughter if she's not already woken me up, and we get ready for the day.
Love it. If you were to pack a bag right now, where would you be going?
I'm desperate to go on holiday, Isaac. I'd be packing a bag, getting on a flight. One of my friends just messaged me from Portugal, fuming. I'd be getting on that flight to Portugal. I just desperately would love some sun. So I would be getting on a flight, a villa possibly, and getting my friends to come with us. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. I can't deal with the sun and the heat in the UK.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I completely agree with you. Completely agree.
One thing that always lifts your mood?
A great FaceTime or with a good friend, or seeing those people in person.
What's one habit you'll always swear by?
Oh, that's a good one. A habit I actually really swear by, which has come into fold as being a mum: preparing the night before ahead of the day. I cannot stress to you enough, it's a game changer, because you're not going to know where your keys are at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you will at 8 o'clock at night. So even if you are dog tired, just carve out that 15 minutes, get the kit packed. You don't have to have kids to do this. I wish I'd done it before, but just set your little stall up for the day, lay out your knickers, your boxers, whatever you're wearing, and you will feel like you can conquer the day, I'm telling you.
Perfect. Favourite way to spend your day off? I'm not sure you get many days off or much time off.
Favourite way to spend my day off is when Rory's off at the same time and we just have a full family day. We're lucky to live by the beach, take the dog for a good run on the beach, maybe have a nap. Isaac, I need my naps. Honestly, I need that recharge. If I could have a nap, so a day off at the beach with the family, gorgeous. And then what I absolutely love is then maybe having some friends over in the garden for a barbecue or whatever you want to do, even just a few drinks. I just think that is the best way to spend a day.
Favourite place you visited and why?
There are so many places that come to mind. Well, I told you recently we were in Hong Kong. I have been to Hong Kong before, but I absolutely love being there. In fact, I was Googling international school on the way home because I thought we need to move to Hong Kong. It's incredible. I loved it.
Do you know what? I find it such an incredible place. Now, obviously, Oscar has a different opinion growing up there. He was there for the first 18 years. And I think there's this tricky relationship with people that grew up in Hong Kong, particularly with the way things are changing. I think for us, like going there, it's just such a international city, and it's 24/7, and the smells and the sounds. It's like
So I really, really enjoyed it actually, and it was really set up for kids, set up for animals. People were so friendly, so safe. I just really enjoyed it. But I would actually say somewhere that has always stuck in my mind. I've actually been 4 times now, so really enjoyed it, is Iceland. Have you ever been to Iceland?
Yes, we went in.
Did you? Did you see the Northern Lights?
We didn't. We went to Norway last year, Iceland this time. Still never got to see them. It's disappointing. What is it about Iceland?
I don't know. Maybe it's that going back to like not loving the heat actually, unless I am by a pool. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I just found the whole place really magical. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed the culture, the people. One of my favorite moments that I'll always remember is I was on this kind of ski mobile thing up this top of a mountain, and we could see Greenland, and there was a polar bear floating his way to Greenland, and I thought, God, I'm on top of the world here. And I was really fortunate to do that trip. I got it was all expenses paid for, before anyone thinks I've like won the Euros or something, Euro Millions. I've not. It was a work trip, and I was on this thing, and I thought, wow, I am so lucky. And subsequently I've been back a few times just to show like friends and family this cool place. And I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. It's not the best to articulate on a podcast, obviously, but I just enjoyed being there so much. I really enjoyed the fact that it can be like 24 hours daylight or 24 hours nighttime. I find that madness. And yeah, I just enjoyed it so much. I really did.
I love that. If you could time travel, would you go forwards or back?
I would go backwards. I am a history nerd. I've actually just read the greatest book, and it was all set in like the 1800s. I'd go back to 1920s, like living it up, dancing somewhere in Soho in London somewhere, in a flapper dress. That would be for me. I loved Downton. Downton was a great little series for me.
Yeah.
And when they were in the 1920s, I thought, but it'd have to be like pucker, it would have to be the glitz and the glam.
Yeah.
But Great Gatsby vibes would be for me. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. We just saw The Great Gatsby at London, and it was the best thing I've ever seen on stage. It was incredible. Finally, a small amount of joy you've experienced recently.
Honestly, like, I know this is like a cringe mum thing to say, but just literally my daughter, she brings us joy every single day. Just the way she's, she's really coming into her own, her little personality. We're so proud of her. And, I would tell you the warts and all, but, she handles every situation really, really well. She's funny. She said to my husband the other day, he was trying to tell her off about something, trying to explain consequences. And she went, but Daddy, it's funny. And I thought, you can't argue with that. And I thought a little bit Isaac was, oh yes, she is a bit of me. I don't know, there's just something, she just gives me joy every single day. And when she's a little bit cheeky, I kind of love that. And when she said that to my husband, I thought, that's really made me laugh, and it continues to make me laugh. So, she just does little funny things like that, and she really is a light.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for coming on ChatterBeans. I've had such a great conversation, and it's just nice to meet someone who is in a similar position, I suppose, like just really trying to pursue this new journey of presenting and podcasting. And I really wish you all the best with it. And I can't wait to see how you get on. So where can people connect with you?
Oh, well, thank you, Isaac, so much for having me on. Honestly, a real privilege to meet you and be on this amazing podcast. It's great to see how the pros do it, to be honest with you. You can find me. I'm Rachel Aitken _presents on Instagram. I have not ventured onto TikTok because one platform is enough for me, to be honest. You can also find my podcast on all podcast platforms, wherever you find yours. And I would love to hear your thoughts if you want to listen to any of the episodes. And season 3 is ticking along as we speak. It's just out at the moment. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And please, Isaac, anytime, reach out. It's so great to be in the same boat with somebody and someone like-minded too. And I really wish you all the best of luck. I don't think you need it, because I believe you're going to go on to great things.
And I'm just really grateful that you would spend some time with me today. So
anytime, honestly, anytime.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, why not hit that 5-star wherever you get your podcasts, and hit the subscribe button so you're the first to know when the brand new episodes are released. We've also got more content over on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram at chatter.beans. Until next time, keep chatting, keep sipping, and I'll see you soon.